So we're here at Productronica 2011 on the Kyzen booth. Tom,
Good
thanks
afternoon.
for talking to us again. Good to see you in Munich.
Good to see you.
We've spoken about all sorts of aspects of what you do, the industry, etc. Let's focus in a little on something that is very close to, or a lot closer to some of the markets in Europe, particularly also Germany, which are the green issues. So the environmental aspects.
Absolutely.
How do you fit in with that, and what sort of influences do you face, or challenges do you face?
Well, it's really interesting because environmentalism started the day our company was founded over 20 years ago, and the cleaning that's done in the world today was changed away from Freon because of the hole in the ozone layer. The world got together with the Montreal Protocols and said, we need to do things a bit differently. That was one of the earliest global successes of environmentalism. And we've taken that to heart all along. Started out with renewable resource products. As the company's grown, we've kept that approach. And it really goes into a number of different areas, such as years ago, solvents were the common cleaning materials, were almost ubiquitous. Nowadays, it's all about aqueous products. Well, why is that? Well, fundamentally, those aqueous products are less of an environmental impact. They're generally safer for the employees. They are used in equipment that can use less energy. They can be recycled and reused and decrease emissions to the air, as well as things down the drain. So that is a big step forward. The other part, of course, of environmentalism is safety. You know, the old solvents didn't only hurt the ozone layer. You know, they weren't particularly wonderful for the employees, the operators that were working with them. So that core of safety, trying to develop more neutral materials rather than very highly caustic materials. We've introduced a new product here at the show, 5321. It's designed for a maintenance process that no one had really done much work on. People were using old solvents, whatever was laying around. But maintenance materials and processes don't get a lot of attention. They're not always in the safest equipment. They're not always in things that are well contained. So this is a really worker-safe product that's designed for something everyone has to do, clean pallets. You know, there's a wave everywhere. And now we can do that where they get great cleaning, but they do it in a safer way, a more cost-effective way, and able to do it actually cold, which in case of things where they were using energy for heating, they've removed that. So environmentalism pervades all the different elements of the cleaning segment, from the products themselves, their impact on the environment, their impact on the people involved in the process, both in our manufacturers, of course, our staff that makes the products, and our customers that use them. So it's a very sort of intimate relationship, and it's something that's core to Kyzen, that we've always felt that environmentalism started at the beginning, those renewable resource products, and we've continued that down the road, and it's working out well. Here in Europe, of course, people wake up in the morning and are eager to try to do a better job with the environment. Of course, no one wants to wake up and do a poor job, but for many people, they just don't consider it. And it is a prime goal and objective for folks here. And so those environmental themes really resonate. People understand that energy savings are better for the world. That lower, less is better. If a product that used to run at 100% now can run at 5 or 10, that's 90% less material. That's 90% less of something to deal with in the environment somehow, some way. That's better.
I think one of the key points you mentioned just earlier is also that people will understand that you can have an environmentally friendly product that doesn't necessarily cost more.
Oh, that's right.
Because there's a cost element where people think, okay, this is special, this is good for the environment, therefore there's a additional cost to it.
And that's mostly not that's a correct observation. The perception is that environmentalism always costs more.
Yeah.
And there's certainly examples where that's true.
Yeah.
But in fact, in the cleaning world, that's not really the case. The materials are very cost effective because they're run at 5 or 10 and 15% concentrations. Well, boy, water's rather inexpensive. Those are savings because there's less emissions. The environmental considerations that have to be given to that, whether it's through permitting or stack scrubbing or whatever the heck it may be, they're greatly reduced. So all these elements bring a much more economical package as well as a green package, and that's why we're having the success that we are, and the market is generally moving in that same direction.
And do you find there are different legal frameworks? I would imagine, for instance, we're here in Germany, that they might have more strict laws that are required for
it really varies. The worker safety laws around the world are obviously there's places where there's not much attention to that, but
Yeah.
in the West, where there is a great deal of attention to it, there's a great deal of commonality. The environmental rules do change a lot from country to country, and they even change within countries. There are certain areas that have a bit more history of poor air. They often have stricter rules than the rest of the country because they're trying to remedy a bad situation. If you're, Normandy probably doesn't have the same air regulations that Paris has,
Yes.
for example.
Yep.
And so it does vary a bit, and that's another key component of customer service for our clients is that understanding those regulations, helping them interpret those regulations, say here's how your cleaning process fits into your rules. Our customers obviously know the rules that they live under, but that marrying up of the rule to this process is not always obvious, and we work with the customers to help them understand those things and to help them realize the real benefits these green products bring. Often people have limits on this and that. We're doing a lot of industrial things, so people do create waste, and these are usually negatives. They're reducing that waste. And that's a real plus. That's when you get into the environmental folks that are working those regulations, they often get it. Sometimes it's the technical staff that doesn't understand those benefits because they're focused on it's got to work, and green products do work. The key, that's that first step. You have to work. So by matching an effective product to the task at hand, now it's how can we be as green as possible to get that task done and meet all those needs.
I was going to say, so if you can tick those boxes of cost efficiency, quality in terms of what it delivers for the customer, and an environmentally friendly product, I suppose you've got a win-win-win.
Absolutely.
There. What sort of products have you got here on show?
Well, on show, I mentioned the 5321, which is
Yep.
a new maintenance product. We've got the 4638, which is a product that's designed for water-soluble cleaning. One of the real oddities of the current landscape is that the old organic acid fluxes that were generally just washed with straight water, well, with very small packages and very tight nooks and crannies, sometimes water can't get in there. And so it's a product that's designed specifically for that need. Runs at very low concentrations, because it's designed to help that water fulfill what it can really do. Those are really good examples of that. How do we help things? Now you think, gosh, if water used to work and now I'm using something that's not very green. Well, again, the process has to work. If I'm going to ship product that's going to be returned, that's not very green either.
Sure.
Customers won't be satisfied. We have very high demands now, our smartphones and all these sorts of things. So it's that case of how can I do it with as little as possible. More isn't better, less really is more. And that's the approach that we take, and those two products are really designed to do that. The maintenance cleaner, you're moving from things that are often 100% solvent down to things that are running at 5 or 10% in a cold temperature, so you got savings just all around the map.
Well, I suppose with all the global issues that we're facing, it's going to become more and more of an issue in people's minds. They're going to demand more environmentally friendly products.
Oh, sure.
And that will translate from, all throughout the supply chain.
That's right.
So to have the approach that Kyzen has now is, I think, a key to future success. Do you agree?
Well, thank you. That's our philosophy. We spend we have a very large R&D staff that spends a great deal of time and resources developing these new products, understanding the customer's needs, so we can actually meet them. Because if you have to be able to understand that need very acutely to demonstrate that you've improved it. So that's what our laboratory does. We've got a spectacular test lab fully equipped that allows them to do that. We have a huge database of comparing the various fluxes and pastes from around the world to our products, and even the ingredients in our products. That core database are the bullets that we use when we have to create a new product. It's like, well, gee, someone's invented a new flux. Here's a process that's a bit more extreme than you would normally encounter. How can we help the customer do that, and do that in a green way? Well, instead of running some product at 2 or 3 times the routine concentration, well, maybe we can adjust that product just a bit and still be able to do that at those very economical rates, but have that special need met. And that's of course, gee, wouldn't selling something at double or triple the concentration be better for us? Well, we don't think so. We think in both the short and the long run, it's not good for the customer, it's not good for the environment, and if it's not good for the customer environment, it can't be good for us for very long. it might be good for us for a day,
Yeah.
but that's not the goal. The goal is for it to be good for everyone for the long term. And so that's where those new product developments come in, and even in these smaller areas where lots of people have these issues, and we're just trying to make their lives better and create some new opportunities for us.
Excellent. Well, very good work in the right direction. Thank you very much once again for talking to us here in sunny Munich, I was going to say.
Sunny
but it's
Munich,
very,
well, there was a
very
bit of
cold.
sunshine a few days
Absolutely.
ago, but not so much today. So, well, thank you again for the opportunity. It's a pleasure.